This is your daily market review for Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market review, Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, interesting week as we've gotten into it. The market seems to be holding up. Not surprising, honestly. Again, the way that the news flow is playing out, like again, Trump's pushing for three-point rate cut and interest rates. You got trade deals coming through. You have all sorts of stuff. And as we talked about, it's a light data week in front of earnings. It was going to be choppy. Seems to be chopping, but holding up pretty well. Again, July is seasonally typically bullish. So, I mean, again, going into earnings, bullishness based on seasonality. Again, I think the risk reward is more to the downside. But, I mean, again, if you have a name that has earnings coming up, you really don't want to step in front of that because you never know. Bad news can go up, bad news can go down. Seem to go all over the place. So, again, trade stocks you're familiar with. Be safe out there. And remember, the summer is going to be choppy at times. It's not going to always be easy. The volume lightens up and people tend to not make big moves. And again, you have a FOMC meeting coming up in July on the end of the month. So do you really want to go nuts? You want to get crazy and try to predict everything right now all the time? I don't know. It's tough. Again, trade the stocks you're in. Again, I still like small caps and material names for the long run. Again, some of the tariff stuff is messing with some of the names, but ultimately we've seen how they typically resolve up in time because of this. Because again, at the taco trade, take it back kind of thing or whatever. So again, if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, link description below. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. Again, if you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate and you don't hit us up, why? You get 2 agents for the price of 1. Would love to help out. Again, there's tons to hear, education to learn. Again, before you act on any advice or what it seems as advice, consult with a financial advisor. Be safe out there. Again, if you'd like to chat, check out the Calendly link. Take 30 minutes. Let's get to know each other. Most of the times I know most of the people, but again, if you have questions. And also too, if you join the Discord room and you do not actively participate quickly, I mean, I just typically boot people. There's so many bots and people out, I don't know, just nefarious people seem to be joining the room and then asking for people's to donate and they try to impersonate me. It's really annoying, but that is just what it is. And again, if you're not familiar with who I am on here, just here you go. My profile is very back to from social media purgatory to drop knowledge. Again, trading agent. A lot of people play with the name, and it's gonna have all these different roles. So, all right, let's get into it. More on this. If you're also too coaching, again, we talked about this. There's a lot of people who don't understand like the mindset part of this. Again, money is basically a mindset, and if you can't get into it and you can't adhere to your rules, you can't actively participate in the ways that you want to within the market, you're not doing well, let's, again, reach out, see how I can help. Tradingagent.com website, also posting on Twitter. Again, taco is pending. Oh boy. Anyway, at this point, be safe out there. Again, follow, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you'd like to donate to the channel. I appreciate it. Link description below or hit the thanks button. Again, tradingagent.com, tons of insights, education, real estate stuff, and again, 3 recommended books of recommended reading. All right, Fear and Greed Index. I think it's still up here in the 70s. I don't watch it moment to moment. We've talked about this. Just because you're extreme fear, just like when you're extreme greed, we're extreme greed, and if it's extreme, doesn't mean it has to bottom immediately. But I'd be on the red alert for, again, pullbacks. And this is where I'm very curious to see, do we get pullbacks and just everything, or is it going to continue to be what I think is a rotation game, meaning that the names that have once led become more distributed. We'll see what happens here. Again, just be careful out there. The summer is not easy. And again, just because we're extreme greed doesn't mean we have to drop. It just means the risk reward. If you're playing the markets as an index, I think those probably make sense more to be selling and taking profits and then going from there. So the Fed Watch tool, let's see what's going on for July coming up. Nothing as of right now, but that can all change very quickly. Oh man, I don't know why I did it again. Okay, Bitcoin. Good old Bitcoin. Is it breaking out? Again, I've said this many times. You can get caught in the chop cycle, just like you're seeing in gold and something. Until you break out, this could all be consolidation patterns. So buy low, trade it again, maybe sell some here. I don't know what the right answer is because I don't promise anything. But just like this is the one thing that we saw. It was a big chop, and then we broke out with volume. I don't see the volume yet. Doesn't mean we can't go higher. But if you want to see a consolidation zone that's been in the works for almost 8 months, you want to see a breakout with volume. Oil. So we talked about not shorting oil like oil, but again, wouldn't be surprised if near term, works its way back higher, or again, keeps basing. Again, I like the stuff. Natural gas. I'm not a big fan of the UNG. As I've said many times, I would love to see natural gas pull back more, but we'll see what happens here. Again, I don't make the rules. I just follow the market. That's how we do. So, all right, let's get into it. Dollar chopping around. We talked about this. Has been pretty oversold. Watch the 20-day TLT. Again, I think rates are going to go lower, but we'll see what happens here. I think you have a really good reference around 83. So if you're trading this or buying bonds down here, again, I think it's really easy to have a stop. The VIX, man, back at 16, we talked about this. It feels like the risk reward is to the upside in the VIX, but we're compressing volatility. How much lower do we go? Looks like you have potential to get back into the 14 levels. Again, it's crazy to think where we were just in April. This is why we talk about when you get elevated VIX spikes over 60, it's typically a good buying opportunity. VIVIX, again, looks like it's bottomed, higher lows, but not confirming anything in the market. Look at the SPY, closed closer to the high of the day, right? They got new highs and pull back and chop. This we talked about the chop in the MFOMC, and then you broke out. Again, it's due to consolidate, but it doesn't necessarily have to until we get some earnings or some news. So again, you're on red alert here. This is where it gets tricky. It's like, where do you short or where do you sell? It's a probability-based game. If you're unsure, if you're about 50% confident this is the high, then you take out 50% and see what happens. No one knows for sure. QQQQQ, again, you will always be pullbacks at some point. QQQQQ, again, holding up near the highs. IWM, we've talked about this. This is my favorite long-term index out of all of them. You zoom out for basically the last, 5+ years. This has gone absolutely nowhere. The dodo bird, right? It kept holding the highs from like 2018. But we haven't gone anywhere. And again, I like the rotation. If you think money's coming back in the U.S. from tariffs and all this stuff, nice trade. DIA, it seems to be catching some bids and chopping. Again, it was kind of crushed because of United Healthcare and some things, but at this point, I'm under the impression that it's just, again, I don't even know why I follow it. Why I say every video I'm going to stop, but it's like it's an addiction. Gold, we talked about this, again, broke the 50-day chopping around. Again, it's really tough to trust unless it breaks out. July is typically seasonally bullish, but man, we've had a monster up run. Again, I don't have confidence in anything at this point. It could be in a consolidated move. I think silver has better looking chart, right? Near the highs, holding the 20-day, right? We'll see if the gold miners can follow through, right? Holding the 50-day. That seems to be like the going theme here, especially with gold. I guess the gold miners have made a slightly higher high, but again, do they have to rip? We'll see. AEM has typically been the leader. It looks kind of consolidative. AG, we talked about silver popping and then AG holding up. Some people were buying this around 780. It makes sense to me. Again, it's underperformed a long time. Newmont, we've talked about this 58 area is really important. Chopping around and PAAS. Again, I like PAAS, right? It looks better than a lot of the other silver miners. So just, again, be careful out there. Let's get into tech because, again, tech to me looks like the best risk reward to short, especially certain names. But here you go, coming into earnings, you got to be real careful. This thing's gone from $1.30 up to 240, 237. Lower highs, I don't know. Micron, right? It seems to be lagging, right? Keep an eye on this stuff. AM Dizzle, right? Seems to be chopping around, seems to be lagging. Now, NVIDIA became the $4 trillion company. I've said this, I think ultimately the law of large numbers is really hard for them to continue the growth spurt that they're on. And again, they have to earn their multiple in time. We talked about shorting from here. We said you got to be careful. And again, I think I shorted here and gave up. I don't know where the top is. So I'm not going to sit here and try to project it. Now, again, what I say, jump into short at this point. If you want to layer in, if you're confident, 10, 20, 30, 40, I don't know what percentage you're confident in, but it makes sense. But also it doesn't make sense, meaning like, we got some earnings coming up. Again, we'll have to be very cognizant of that. And again, it's like, is there better trades? Maybe. SMCI seems to be holding up. We talked about this since broke the wedge. Intellectual property. Again, this looks like a big chop, 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 chop zone. Again, I wouldn't short the lows. I wouldn't buy the highs either. Just keep an eye on it. AVGO seems to be holding up pretty damn well. Credit where credit's due. And SMH, again, I think the SMH up here makes sense, right? Short, but does it mean it can't make new highs and really set a trap, or is it a breakout? I mean, to me, it looks kind of like a weird megaphone pattern. Trend line would be like that 290, an old trend line. We'll see. Keep an eye on it. Kind of digging this one. Let's clear it up if you can see what I'm talking about here. That's the ultimate trap, right? But we don't have the volume to confirm a breakout or a trap. And so at this point, I mean, they could drift this thing higher. I mean, again, you have to manage the trades how you feel best. Again, I think at this point, I'm going to probably wait until next week at least before I really start thinking about any major shorts, right? It's also going to be options expiration next week, if I remember correctly, right? If I remember correctly, it is. And if you go look at the Stock Traders Almanac, it's typically bullish next week. So again, it doesn't mean we have to go higher. Some names will, some names will chop, but it's not time to short, in my opinion, heavily. I mean, pick your name. Makes sense. Again, be safe out there. Adobe's we talked about, kind of looks like dead money. Apple said this thing is in the purgatory of purgatories for as long as it's going to be. Watch the 100-day, watch this 215. If it can get over it, maybe it can get back up to the 235. But I mean, when I say purgatory, I think it's a big chop zone. Amazon, Bezos can't sell it fast enough. We'll see how it holds up here on the 220s. Meta, we've seen how they're taking every AI person away from every other company. Holding up pretty damn well. Credit where credit's due. CRM, this one looked like it was like wedging out. 100-day, I don't know. See what happens here. Guggenheim. The Guggenheim dropped on OpenAI tool to add to Chrome, I think it was, or whatever, for web search. I don't know, man. That's a tricky one. Microsoft seems to be holding up well. Again, we talked about names that are holding up. NDAQ tried to short this one, got stopped out. Then it broke down the next day. Man, that's the nature of this thing. Just keep an eye on it. MicroStrategy. This one's interesting, right? Because the Bitcoin's going. This thing could catch a rocket. Just worth an eye. Again, what's the right value on this? I don't know. I really don't know. Looks tricky. Netflix, we talked about this one blowing off top. 20-day seems to be the place. Good old Roblox. We talked about this thing's been a monster. Seems to be holding up. It is getting a little choppy up here. Wouldn't be surprised after this. I mean, you go from 48 to $1.06, $1.07. You're probably going to take a break. Good old CrowdStrike, right? We like these cybersecurity names. Seem to be like working their way up slowly. PanW, same kind of thing. Working their way slowly up since the April lows. Good old Tesla again. Elon opens his mouth every day. Is it priced in? That's what I'd be watching the 100-day here. Is it priced in? Good question. I don't know. Be careful out there. Let's go in some of these other names. Palantir, again, this had a huge up move over time. Holding, I don't know, back up near the highs. I just wouldn't jump in front of this one, shorting it. Insight, right? We talked about this is a buyout target. Congrats, we bought in the mid-50s. HIMS, again, I am just mind-boggled by the desire to buy this after the run-up in February. We'll see. I mean, it looks like a big consolidative pattern coming. I don't think their business is really that great. I mean, I saw an Amazon ad that felt very reminiscent of what they're doing. Baba, I put this one on the list today. Worth a watch, right? I mean, it's getting pretty beaten up. I mean, I'd watch the 100. I thought 110 was a good buy. Haven't done anything because, again, we're breaking the 0.6 weight on 1.8. I want to see what happens here. But this area matters, in my opinion. Filling the gap, or the old gap fill, and the 100 area. I mean, it's a big round number. Worth a watch. McDonald's, we talked about this one got beaten, and now it's just chopping. Starbucks, we like this one from the 70s, and then when it broke the 50-day, interesting candle today, right? Not ideal if you're a bull. We'll see. Airbnb, we talked about this one, chopping around. Coinbase, crypto's going. Again, can we break out, make new highs? Worth a watch. DKNG, again, I think this stock is just in a perpetual chop zone. Trade the extremes, be careful. Costco, I mean, they seem to be, I mean, if you zoom out, there's a monster run. Again, it looks like a big head and shoulders pattern, but this is the thing that it's starting to look more like to me is consolidative. I mean, I don't think you could short it unless it broke 880 because you could be stuck in a chop zone. Seems rough. FedEx, we talked about this one buying and popping its way up. Again, is it going to be easy? No. Sometimes you just don't know. XLF, as we talked about, it's really tough to short a market where the financials are leading. Now they're starting to chop around a little bit before their earnings all start next week for the most part. So keep an eye on it. Hood, which is, again, this thing blew off to 100, seems to be chopping around, consolidating, worst case. JP Morgan, this one been flying. Now it's starting to get a little weak again. Some folks I know shorted this one last week, but again, be careful with options going into earnings. Morgan Stanley, Stanley Morgan, again, a lot of these names look like they got getting a little tired. They've been on monster runs, right? I mean, some of these look bearish, but I don't know if I really trust them until earnings. Again, if they pull back before earnings, now you're in a conundrum. Does it continue down, or was it just a buying opportunity? Keep an eye on it. Carry, we've talked about this one holding up pretty well. It's really hard to get super duper bearish. XBI, here's the one we talked about. Look at this today, starting to catch a bit. I mean, you're starting to see money rotate around. Like, it's just the market is not looking fundamentally weak. Jets holding up pretty well. And XHB, look at the housing index. I mean, Trump talking about 3 points off trying to get mortgages down to 4%. That'll get people off the sidelines. Keep an eye on it, right? Let's get into commodities. Talked about this was looking for bigger pullbacks. I don't know if we'll get it. Again, with the tariff stuff. Again, I like this stuff. This is where where you're trading versus investing and holding. Keep an eye on Dow. I mean, again, if you got the stock, nothing looks wrong with it. I mean, it's huge volume at the lows. Keep an eye on it. CE, again, I'm hoping that these names do pull back. No guarantee. Caterpillar's been holding up really well. Look at this thing. Back near the highs. Deere been holding up really well. Really well. Nucor. Again, here's an example of something that got caught in the tariff blender, but then ended up making new highs. Worth an eye on. Again, because how long will these copper tariffs, I mean, some of those things are kicking in now. Again, another name building up. I mean, it's really hard. We're looking for pullbacks on some of these, right? Your guess is good as mine. Again, I like VALE. Let it pull back. I mean, it's a gift if it does. So here we go. Arrow. They're a Canadian copper crush. I don't know where the bottom is. I mean, I'm looking at the 12-13 here. That'd be a gift. FQVLF, right? Here's another one. Holding up. These been on nice runs. SCO, again, copper stuff gotten a little slapped around. Not surprised. Again, this is what makes it hard. I mean, this is where you have to manage your position. I like it. Like it a lot, right? Freeport looking better than some of the other ones. URNJ. I mean, this one had been a nice run, right? We talked about it. All right, consolidating here. No worries. 200-day worth a watch. Again, nothing goes up in a straight line. Okla, been buying a little bit of this down here. Was really impressed with the doji that it formed today. Again, you faked the breakout. You pulled back. You broke some lows, right? And then you came right back. So again, worth a watch on these names. Again, I think I like uranium stuff. CCJ has been holding up really well. CF, again, we like ag names as well, right? Like, these things have been monsters. Then pull back, and then they just start going on these green runs. Like Mosaic had just a monster green run. See if it can break out. NTR, another one. Just boom, 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 boom. SQM, right? Some people bought this back at 36 the other day. I was hoping for lower prices. Well, we'll see. I mean, we're now into some zones that, I think we'll watch what happens up here, but looking for dips. AA, another one, looking for dips. Looking for the chips and dips. I like these names a lot off the lows. If you zoom out, you see where they come from, where they're going. Cotton Eye Joe. Yeah. Again, they all... yeah. I know some folks buying NP. Again, NP made sense today. Right? I'd be watching NP at 29 plus. It's a pullback 10 points. I'm just taking more notes. Right now, BABA, Arrow, MP, Okla, they all look like better pullbacks to buy. Remex, again, this one holding up pretty well. Again, I'd just be watching it. TMC, again, I think this is an interesting name because, again, the material sector, vacuuming the floor. Cliff, not last but not least, but again, these names had some really nice moves. Worth a watch. Let's get into some of the solar stuff because, again, we talked about if oils pop and solar starts to catch a bit, and there you go. Consolidating now after a few days of just straight pumpage makes sense. Sedge, ENPH. Again, I'm not a fan of ENPH. But we'll see. I like First Solar a lot. I was really hoping to get in the 120s, but didn't. This thing is all over the place. Like 190. Wow. If you've traded this thing before, you should know that this thing is a wild one, super wild one. Like again, I don't know the right First Solar price. Like you have to when picking lows, but I'd watch that 160 area again. Just typing in some notes. And last but not least, before we get into oil and gas, HY Jizzle. Again, HYG looks interesting to me. Again, it's hard to expect the market to dump if this thing's holding up. So let's get into oil. Oil, again, we talked about the USO. I bought some of this around, I don't know, 73, 72s. Nice trade. Again, I sold most of it. Kind of regretting it. Again, not that I don't think it's going to go higher. Just was hoping for more pullback, but didn't get it. Might not. UNG. Right? I hate this product. I hate this. Oh, KOLD. Oh, put this back on your radar. Right? I love puts on this thing. I'd love it. Again, if natural gas pulls back, I'd be watching for this thing to just short the dog doo-doo out of it. This thing just is an epic beast. Like, zoom out on this thing. Yeah. I mean, you like shorting, deteriorating ETFs? Yes, please, all day, every day. XOP, we talked about this one looking like it's consolidating under the trend line. Nothing wrong with it. Again, I will say though, I saw some like, I don't know, oil names like Doji today. I was like, here you go, MPC. Again, the oil and gas names typically, the gasoline typically lead name are the leaders in this sector. They are getting a little overheated. Some dojis today and then some big volume the day before. Again, not saying they have to dump, but I'd be a little nervous. I mean, these things have had some nice runs, right? ExxonMobil, we talked about this one. Again, doji today, BP. I think it's a buyout target. Keep an eye on it. Occidental. Again, we talked about Uncle Buffett is not going to lose. I'd be watching what happens when it gets to the 200-day. Devon Energy. And these are names we all like. 200-day. Apache, right? Snagged this one in the 18s. Looking pretty solid. Watch the 200-day. Lyondell Base. Another one that you could probably snag. Again, just look for pullbacks. I think a lot of these have more risk to the upside than downside. CVE is another one. Here you go. The 200-day. EQT. Again, looks like it's, you zoom out, it's been a big monster uptrend after consolidation. Right, like its April low is nothing near like lows previously. So at this point, it's probably going to consolidate until Senior Natural Gas. Is it? Right, probably just needs. When it starts to go, this will probably catch more. Yeah, whatever, something like that. Anyway, all right, let's add into the Flex LNG because again, I think we'll be natural gas exporter. So every time natural gas price drops, it becomes more easy. It's easier to argue for the export of it. So, all right, if you got questions, again, I appreciate it. If you leave a comment below, leave a heart, share this with a friend. Again, I'm cutting back the amount of time to do this, doing more coaching, more helping. And again, I do this for free. I've got a lot of things going on. So if you want more involvement, reach out. Again, I need to know, again, that if I do a live, there's only one person asking right now to do a live session. I'm like, that's interesting. Okay. Well, if only one person really wants to do a live, I'd rather just that person hit me up and let's just chat sometime. And we can do a live, you and I, versus, all right, I'm going to create a whole thing and spend time trying to get it promoted and get people to show up, and then no one really does. And again, is that on me? I don't know. Again, the algorithm has never been really my friend on social media. I guess my opinions have alienated myself from certain algorithms, which again, I don't care. That's life. So, all right, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you want to get into talk about the coaching, I really think this is one of the most important things when it comes to finance is the mindset. Again, we go deep into shadow work integration. Again, if you're familiar with Carl Jung's individuation thesis, again, you know what I'm talking about. This stuff is powerful. It really does work. So I appreciate you guys. Anyway, just figure I'd keep reminding people because again, it's like you can be given the answers to the test, but can you pass the test? Does your mind allow you to function? We'll see. All right. Have a wonderful evening. Talk to you later. Peace.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, your PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.